Okay, we're going to call this Parks and Recreation Committee meeting to order at 7:15 p.m. We've got Mr. Clement and myself and council present, Mr. Booth present via phone. We've got Mr. Casey Cox from the Parks and Rec Board, and we've got City Manager Mr. Ken Jimmy off in the wings there. Also have Jason Cohen, our utility superintendent, in the back. Got a member of the press. We have some other council members available as well, and some citizens, which is great. So wonderful. Got a nice agenda, I think, for this evening. And I have on here to talk about the pool ordinance that we passed. Ms. Yinger had reached out to me and asked to have this on there, and I forgot to send her an earlier reminder, so I'm going to push that towards the bottom of the agenda tonight, just to in case she has the ability to get a hold of me or stop by. We'll start with the dog park board. There's a dog park committee meeting on Friday. Was it Friday or is it Thursday? Thursday. Yeah, it was last Thursday. And Mr. Cox was there, and maybe if you want to give some updates on some of the stuff you guys touched base on.
Yep. So I got the agenda from last Thursday's meeting. Normally we meet every third Thursday of the month, but I'll start kind of with just funds that we've gathered and have been awarded for the dog park, and then kind of talk about other things we've discussed as well. So first, we have been awarded $2,500 for the Nelsonville Community Foundation grant, and we have an ODNR at NatureWorks grant of $21,349 for a shelter house that's going to go on the dog park grounds. And then we learned officially during our last meeting, Senate Bill number 288, we've been awarded $139,731 for the dog park. And on top of that, there is a State of Ohio Department of Development grant that's for $250,000. That's not specifically for the dog park, but we learned it's for kind of city planning around Nelsonville. But it's kind of our understanding that if we needed to for things around the dog park, we could use that. But there's no plan really for the funds right now. As of right now, I think from talking with the city engineer, Michael Betts, last week, the money still has to get through the avenues, it has to get through for us to be able to use that. But kind of the big focus last meeting with the city engineer was talking about the designs for the dog park and kind of getting that finalized. They're still not finalized yet, but we've been able to update some drawings. It's kind of been a back and forth between our board and kind of him. So basically the meeting last week was really beneficial for him to kind of see our updates for the dog park and kind of the way the grounds are looking. As of last Thursday as well, the grounds they're completely ready. Like the grass has been planted, it's all been leveled out. And a little bit of East Green Drive, we learned this last week too. That road's going to kind of cut off at the parking lot that leads to the dog park, and it's not going to go alongside the dog park anymore. So we discussed with them the potential of expanding the dog park a little bit where that road used to be. And yeah, I don't know. Do you want me to go into the details of the design of the dog park or question? Yes.
No, he had a question about he didn't know where the 11 gates were going to go.
Yes, yeah.
And on his diagram, if you notice, there's supposed to be double gates, and they're not on there, and that's where his gates went.
Okay, yes. And that's a huge turning point for dog parks. So.
Yeah. And then he said he was also going to find out from you what kind of mower that you were going to use and how big it is to get in there to mow that. Do you know you're mowing it? That was 2 questions.
That's 2 answers right there.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna mow it and it'll be a zero-turn.
And he just needs to know how wide it is to make the gate big enough so that it can get in.
Like I told you earlier, we had a meeting with him on Thursday morning.
Okay, well then
so
that'll be perfect. Yeah.
Talking with him too, we finalized, we're going to have like kind of a walking track around the dog park as well, which will be nice for people to walk around while dogs are playing. The plan is next to the parking lot, they'll kind of lead to the boat access to the river. There'll be kind of a playground. It's kind of what we're hoping as well for kids to play on outside. That'll be outside of the dog park. And then the dog park will be split into a small dog yard, an off-school course yard. I don't know wrong with that. A small dog yard, off-school course area, and then just one large dog yard. So that's the plans, and nothing's like set right now. Again, we still have to go back and forth with designs and get all that solidified, but we're talking about things like shading the trees, temporary shading and things like that. So, yeah, just kind of bounce around feedback because we can't really set any rules or design until we're actually to the point now the funds are coming in and the ground's ready. We can start making more headway with making solid plans. So, yes.
I've got two more things to add. One, he was mentioning that they were using an 8-foot gate.
Okay.
8-foot fencing, and that's probably way beyond any need for that. Most of the dog parks use 4 to 6 foot.
Okay.
And then Sam was all excited because he was going to go to all kinds of different dog parks all over the place and get information. Well, when he goes there, I'm sure we're paying mileage and his time. So what I said is there are a lot of the dog breeds have a standard thing on Facebook that you can just ask a question on. And they might want to get a hold of them that way and ask people what their opinions of dog parks are and what they find good. And then he can find out his answers in 5 minutes, as opposed to 3 or 4 hours worth of paying for his time.
Yep.
And I don't mind paying for something, but when you can get the same answer really easily, I think that would be to our advantage, because then you can have some of the other things that you really need.
Yeah. And you can get a lot of variety of opinions too, like a lot of different demographics as well, looking online.
Well, that's exactly correct too.
Yeah.
But that's just an easier way to do it. And I really think it's wonderful Sam was so excited, but I'd rather not pay for that.
Yeah.
As a citizen.
Do we know when, I don't know if you guys know, but maybe city manager may know. Do you know when some of these funds when they are projected to be actually awarded? Do you know when they're going to be paid out?
The first key is where it's coming from. We're just assuming right now it could be coming through OGNR. Don't know that for sure. I think with a few phone calls, we'll be able to find out though, so I'm hoping it's sooner than later.
Like, for instance, is that Senate bill, was that on this fiscal budget? Oh, okay, so that'll be probably before July 1, I'm
I would
guessing.
hope.
And then the House bill, the $250,000 one for the city for greater good, was that on next year's?
That's I just signed an extension for that, so we have another whole year to utilize those funds.
Okay. But will that won't be effective until after July 1 then?
No, it's effective now.
Oh, okay, okay.
We just have to plan what we're gonna do with those funds.
All right, and then the Nature Works grant, that's already been awarded. So now we're just waiting for receipt of the funds then?
Yes.
Yes. I'll see what I think of it,
Things are slowly trickling in, and as we do that, then we'll put things out for bid. So make sure funding's in place, so. The fence, probably the gates and the fence will probably be the first things we look at. I think that Director Cohen was talking about asphalt versus concrete around.
Yeah, so, concrete sidewalks, asphalt's cheaper.
Yeah.
Kind of like we did down at the ball field when I added that walkway and stuff in it. You see that down there?
Yep.
And it's, asphalt's cheaper and they can do it 8.5 foot wide.
Yeah. So it'd be the parking lot and then the whole walking path too.
And it's quicker. I mean, they can put it down, you can walk.
Yeah.
And the concrete is gonna be hard to keep people off of it for, 7 to 10 days.
Is it possible? Okay. Justin said that it sounds like it's breaking up a lot, so can't quite hear. That's because you're all the way on the other end of the table, Mr. Booth. Thank you. Mr. Cohen, can we if it's going to be 8.5 feet wide?
We can do it, whatever.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just saying, if we go that big, can we put like posts so we don't drive vehicles down there? Because I know that's an issue down at Holly. And it's not thick enough to have automobiles really drive on it. And I just don't want it to get tore up. Or maybe just put a sign that says no motor vehicles. Because we don't want a lot of.
I would say posts.
A post.
Some kind of like wood post or something, just something that would be nice looking to keep the car.
I have a question. How do we get the people across across the road walking with their dog. I mean, if you had your dog and you lived right there near Vermonta's feet, so like Mr. Spanish, how do we get them safely across there
That's an excellent question.
without somebody, you
We
know?
need some sort of official crosswalk.
Yep.
That's a great question.
Yeah, that's a great catch. We'll have to consider, we don't really have a crosswalk down at that end of the town probably until Earl Boulevard. So we should probably look at down at the Y maybe.
Excellent.
And, yeah, I think the other thing, part of planning too with that, I mean, this doesn't answer that question, but, we've discussed some of like having an offshoot of the bike path that's kind of close to the apartments, like, by college dorms as well. Just trying to have an offshoot of that kind of leads to the dog park as well, but that doesn't answer your question, obviously, but
No,
another
but
way of accessing.
I walk on the bike path and go that far often.
Yeah.
No others do too.
Is that road still back there?
No.
Yeah, they've covered it.
It's been covered?
Yeah.
I love the drive.
Goes left.
No, there's a road in between
That road's still
the
there.
apartments
Goes
and
that
the
way.
river.
So put a
There's a road that goes
crosswalk in
straight
down
down.
there.
So here's the existing building.
We're gonna need sidewalks.
The road is over here.
Oh,
No sidewalks and then
All that excessive.
Nothing on Canal, not into town. nothing on
Yeah, there used to be.
the south side of Chestnut Street.
Well, that's the road that was there, that was down low. This
Well,
was
maybe
not.
we can,
And when it rained, we had.
maybe we can have a street committee meeting and create some long-term planning in terms of sidewalks and crosswalks. And maybe we can address that.
No sidewalks.
Yeah. Or Chestnut, right?
Chestnut does on the north side,
Okay.
on the south side. Canal Street, there's no sidewalks until just past Kroger's gas station at the bank.
Okay, I will have to look at that as
Yeah,
a bigger, as a greater, you
yeah,
know,
well,
project, so
we've got that community grant, so we'll figure out what we're gonna do.
that's good. Okay, anything else from the dog park? Nope. You guys had a productive meeting, though, that was good. I'm glad I was able to attend that too, so. Okay, so then, do we have any update about the Little League? Mr. Cohen, have you heard any update about the Little League?
They're supposed to be doing a party. I think on the 19th.
Yeah, this Wednesday.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, Chris finds our T-ball team, so we'll be
Yeah,
there.
they're in your party, but they do have co-ed softball tournament.
Yes, that's July 21st.
Okay, yeah. Co-ed softball tournament, what are the ages, do we know?
It's 18 and up.
18 and up, co-ed,
10-person team.
I think the entry fee might be
What was the ratio? How did you at least
3 women on a 10-person team. It's on their Facebook page,
okay.
Youth Baseball League.
And did you say July 21st?
July 20th, 21st, so we'll do that weekend. Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it'll be, $250 per team. You get 3 games guaranteed. You have to register by July 8th, so.
Okay, Mr. Flowers.
I attended, the Rocky Boot had a kickball event over at the park on both those diamonds, not the one in Poly Field, but the 2 diamonds. And they had a competition between DC Distributed and down here and another, had 4 teams. And I went over and my son's on one of the teams and I watched it. It was really a nice event to go on at those 2 separate fields there.
Nice. So but it just was that one day. And
Just that one day, and they were all drunk, so it
Great.
They don't remember it at all.
My son was even smoking a cigarette, playing shortstop.
So if you have connections with Rocky, maybe you want to see if they want to put together a softball team.
Oh, they would.
So,
They definitely would. They definitely would. Jason Brooks was over there just raising it.
maybe council could get a softball team.
Yeah.
That would be fun. I'd pay to see it.
Huh?
I'd pay to see it.
Oh, my goodness. I'm gonna be pretty sore. Okay, well, that's good. That's terrific. July 21st, 20th and 21st. And, that sounds like a great event. Co-ed softball, or, yep, softball. Okay. Nice. All right. So, Mr. Clement and I had a couple discussions, to add a couple agenda items here. And, one of them was, to talk about Crabtree Field.
We've talked about it in the past, the city does a great job of maintaining that field, but it's really only used once a year, during Prairie of the Hills. It'd be nice if that field could be available for other uses. And I'm sure, if we think outside the box, we could probably come up with something to offer for different uses of that.
Do you know if the softball tournament's going to utilize it for any of their games?
As far as I know, it'll be all in poly fields, yeah, but that could be depending on how many teams sign up, I'm not sure. Yeah, but yeah, Crabtree is a beautiful story, it'd be nice to see it get more use.
I know they used it, the Little League used it when we had, the Pony League teams, the older teams. But I don't know if we've had that many in that age group for the last couple of years, but it sounds like we've got a lot in the younger groups now coming up, so there's a good chance you'll see an influx in that, hopefully so. But yeah, that would be, we can utilize that field, or if we have ideas or thoughts.
Hockey College has requested that we entertain the idea of them using it as a practice field. So I told them I'll bring that up in front of this committee and council.
Well, we've had discussions with the college in the past where I thought they were going to actually utilize it for games.
Yeah, they requested Polly, and I said, no, not at this time, unless you want to entertain that idea. I said Crabtree would be better if there's a practice field for you.
Yeah.
So we can start discussions with that. That was just brought up to me last week.
Yeah, Mr. Fleming.
To piggyback on what Tom said, I didn't know you were meeting with Jared. And
Okay.
I met with him 2 days before you did
Okay.
about that same subject.
Okay.
Because he had spoke to me quite some time ago about that. And, but I talked to him, I said, I don't know about using Poly Field, but I said, the baseball diamond that's cut in the field probably wouldn't be very good for a soccer ball to change. I mean, going through grass to dirt. I said football, it'd be probably okay, but that, I said, would you be willing to, if you're going to use it to play soccer, to saw it or to put something in there to temporarily, because
Is it soccer or softball? I thought they were going to use Crabtree for softball.
We didn't get that far. So
Oh, okay.
I'm listening.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so I didn't know
We
hockey
talked
actually
about
had
soccer.
soccer. Okay.
yeah, I think they're having a women's soccer. He's got a whole sports board over there.
Okay.
I mean, and Tom didn't meet in his office, but I met in his office. He has a whole sports board over there where they're going to have, I think, swimming, they're going to have softball, they're going to have just all kind of sporting events, but they need so many people to participate.
Sure.
But I spoke with him about that because the gentleman that did a presentation here said that field could actually be sodded back in or something put in there when he did his appeasing presentation, because people were kind of complaining about it. So that's why I asked him, I said, can something be put in there if you want to use that field, like a sod or a temporary something put in there? And he said, yeah, I'm sure we can work that out. So that's another option if they want to use Poly Field, that could be fixed up by Hockey College and then taken back down when the baseball season comes.
Yeah, my main concern is, and even maybe Joe can help me out with this, is preservation of why the fields were created, what the historical value is behind those, and trying to keep the fields the same. So, talked to a lot of people around town. That's the main concern. So, I'm shy on history, so I need to be educated about it.
Well, I went to school with Richard Poly, so I mean, I know very
But
much.
I'm talking about Crabtree.
Yeah.
Oh, Crabtree, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
and we've had discussions in the past with Hawking College, about our fields and the
Right.
use of our fields prior to, you know, them building their own. And there's a lot of misinformation that went around about that.
Sure.
The city was never going to give up ownership or control or try to sell the
Yeah,
field,
that's
which was a lot of what occurred, and that never happened, and it would never happen.
I never heard that.
Yeah, there was discussion about that, but we couldn't, the way that deed is written, we would never be able to sell that field. If anything ever happened to that park and it disappeared, it would revert back to the school. And so, but we would never.
Crabtree or Pollock? Crabtree.
Crabtree, or Polyfield.
Yeah.
But we would never relinquish that anyway, but we were open to partnering with the college. The only thing is with it's used to youth playing on that field, so when you have adults, 18 and older playing on that field, they're a little bit harder. We had a semi-pro football team wanting to utilize it at one time too. We just had a memorandum of understanding that they would repair the field after they would tear it up because they were full.
Crabtree.
This was also Polyfield. Yeah. So with that, we would just have to come up with an agreement with Hawking that because they're going to be larger adults, there's going to be more wear and tear on the field than the youth. So if there's anything that would require extra maintenance, they would pick that
And they
up, and I don't think they would have a problem.
No, they would. He's assured me that
Yeah.
they would
And-
take care of the field. And with the Crabtree Field, Mr. Jimmy, I think they only play one game on there. Is it the Old Time Settlers?
Yeah,
That's what we were just talking about. Mr. Clement was bringing up that we would like to see more use of Crabtree.
And I think.
Rick Edwards brought it up to me a month and a half or so ago. I mentioned it here about the varsity possibly using that field next year. Varsity boys baseball, because just like they did with the softball field this year, they completely redone the field, Bookdale's field over by the gas station for the softball team.
Yep.
Where their field was getting redone. They're talking about redoing the boys varsity baseball field next year.
Perfect.
And asked about being able to utilize this field, whether it was getting done.
Okay, well then I'm gonna announce it right now. I'm gonna make a suggestion, and we need to search for some money. But I'm gonna say that I'm okay with that, and I wanna, if they do it, I'd like to see Nelsonville wear throwback jerseys for that entire season of the Greyhound jerseys. How about it? Anybody up for it?
There you go.
Awesome.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
So they could just, see if we can get some funding for some throwback jerseys for the 1 year that they utilize Crabtree Field.
He said if they do use it, that they'll do the same thing like they did at Brookfield. They'll redo the field, fix it, they'll do the dugouts, they'll redo everything.
Okay. So if I know anybody in high school baseball,
Just basketball now, but
Oh,
I got
he's got some connections. So maybe we could get some throwback jerseys and have them wear scarlet and gray next year. I think that'd be pretty cool. Maybe honoring the Greyhounds. What do you think?
That'd be great.
Wouldn't that be neat?
Mhm.
That'd be fine. So, all right, very cool. That would be very neat. And I think what we should do also is maybe the next Parks and Rec is maybe now that there is discussion again, or interest again from Hawking College.